Good afternoon, my friends. I'm going to film this video in order to show you how to drive from Ain Benian, which is a town in western Algiers, in the west of Algiers, of the Algiers province, to Bouzareah, the highest neighborhood of Algiers. Okay, but we are going to take a seashore route. Okay, a route that goes through the seashore, then goes up through the Sidi village, the Sidi El Kebir village, in order to join, or in order to get to Bouzareah. Okay, so it's going to be a complicated route, but it's also going to be an interesting one. Okay, because we will be seeing interesting things on the way. So now I'm in one of the upper parts of Ain Benian, and it's a little bit unusual to find traffic here, so I'm going to skip this part of the video. And we'll be filming later, a little bit later. So we are approaching the center of Ain Benian here. And so as I told you, I'm driving from one of the upper parts of this neighborhood. Now our destination will be Bouzareah, but we are going to drive through the Sidi El Kebir route, which goes from the seashore to the highest part, or the highest neighborhood of Algiers. As you can see, there are many structures being constructed or being built here in Bouzareah. Here in Ain Benian. Okay, they are mainly building hotels in order to prepare Algeria to be a tourist destination. And well, many hotels have already been built in the last 5 years, and they are still continuing to build. The authorities are actively promoting the construction of more and more hotels. A statistic that I read back in 2017 stated that Algeria is currently building between 700 and 900 hotels across all of our national territory. There is another building under construction over there where you can see the crane, that high crane, tall crane, and I think that it's a hotel as well. See, from the looks of it, it's another hotel. Ain Benian, because it's situated on the seashore, it's a coastal town, is also home to a few beaches that are known here in Algiers. So it's famous for beaches and for vacationers. Although in fact its beaches are not as big as interesting and beautiful as many other beaches here in Algeria. Ain Benian also has an area where people go to have fun. It's on the seashore too. It's a harbor, in fact, and it's known as La Madrague. So that area is known as La Madrague. Okay. I've got to interrupt filming here for a while. Okay, so we're driving through this intersection. You need to be a little bit careful because there are lots of people around here who cross the road, okay, around here. Yeah, as you can see, there are many. This is a residential area. This is a nice residential area of Ain Benian, and well, it's also full of zebra crossings and some speed bumps. This is also one of the nicest places of Ain Benian, one of the nicest parts of this neighborhood, which is in fact the westernmost suburb of Algiers. And we are, by the way, we are driving towards Algiers here. Okay, I've taken the right after we left that Bellevue neighborhood, and now that part of Ain Benian known as Bellevue, and now we are driving towards Algiers. But we are not going to drive as far as the city center, okay? Because later we are taking a turn to go up to Bouzareah. Some speed bumps are just huge. Algeria doesn't have standards. I mean, a unified standard for speed bumps. Some are really small, and others are really huge. And from this part of Ain Benian, you can see the sea. It's a really beautiful view. There is even a balcony on the left. There is even a balcony on the left from where you can see a beautiful. You can have a beautiful view on the sea, on the Mediterranean Sea. You can see that lighthouse over there on the seashore on the left. Now we are leaving the town of Ain Benian to enter the territory, the administrative territory of another neighborhood or another Algiers suburb or coastal suburb, which is known as Hammamet. And by the way, this Hammamet neighborhood is in fact okay. So on my right, you can see the wall of the Ain Benian cemetery. Okay, the Christian cemetery is some 100 meters away. It's over there. And yes, by the way, there is a town in Tunisia known as Hammamet. Okay, so Algeria has its Hammamet and Tunisia has its Hammamet. Okay, so this is not to be confused with that Tunisian town. And well, this is the Christian cemetery on my right. It dates back to the colonial period. Okay, so there are more Christians burying their their deceased ones here. We've just overtaken this bus, and by the way, this bus is one of those buses that service this area, this coastal area. And these buses go from the town of Stawali, which is behind us, further to the west, they link the town of Stawali to the city center, to central Algiers, and more precisely the May 2 or the 2 May station, bus station. So this is the main coastal road here in the west of Algiers. It's the road that goes through several coastal neighborhoods, such as Hammamet. Okay, so it starts from Stawali and Ain Benian, and it goes through, it crosses the neighborhoods of Hammamet, Rais Hamidou, and Buluggin, mainly. I can't remember the names of all the coastal neighborhoods around here. There are many, and they are also known for their beaches. Yet you've got to drive carefully here. Okay, you shouldn't speed up, because there are lots of residents around here. Okay, lots of residents and kids and primary schools and markets and shopping malls and stores and strip malls and all those sorts of things. So it's as if you were driving through small towns, small but very busy, very active towns, or even villages. Okay. There are a few beaches behind these houses, but I know very little about them. Local people know them better. You can see Plage de Phare, okay, or Plage du Phare. It's the lighthouse beach. And I guess that it's not very far from that lighthouse we just filmed earlier. So many beaches around here are said to be nice, but I think that they are very small too, and crowded, obviously crowded in the summer. And I am not a big fan of those beaches, of those beaches, especially when they are very crowded in the summer. I usually prefer, big beaches. The good thing about these beaches, the beaches around here, as people say, is the proximity of the stores. You've got many restaurants and many stores where you can buy. Around here where you can buy, not very far from those beaches, where holiday makers could buy anything they want, practically anything they want. Phone credit, towels, beach toys, food, fast food, or junk food, if you will. And by the way, it would be practically impossible to drive here in the summer. There is constant traffic here, practically constant traffic, especially in the early afternoon, okay? From the early afternoon on. And at night, it's absolutely impossible to drive. Okay, you could spend 3 or 4 hours on this road to go from this very point to central Algiers. So it's definitely not the spot to visit in the summer if you hate traffic. And I think that this is the Ho Chi Minh Avenue. The Ho Chi Minh Avenue, named after the Vietnamese leader Ho Chi Minh, and war hero, who was the architect of the Vietnamese independence. So Algeria is friends with Vietnam. Vietnam showed solidarity with Algeria during the independence war, and Algeria also showed solidarity with Vietnam during its war against the Americans. So they named this street, or this avenue, Ho Chi Minh, in order to honor that Vietnamese leader. Plage Tir aux Pigeons. This is the name of this beach here. And we are approaching the neighborhood of Bainam, in fact. Bainam. And Bainam is named after the forest of Bainam that you can see over there on the horizon. All those hills on my right are in fact covered, they are heavily forested, and they are covered with the trees of the Bainam forest. Okay. And by the way, this neighborhood is also known for its hospital, the Bainam Hospital, okay? So practically all people living in the western suburbs of the capital city of Algiers, they would come to this hospital, okay, to receive treatment. There is constant traffic here because of the hospital, and I'm going to interrupt filming for a while. As you can see over there, my friends, you can see the sign Forêt de Bainam, which means the forest of Bainam. So this is the turn you take if you want to drive to the forest of Bainam. And in fact, for your information, you could go to you can go to Bouzareah, to the neighborhood of Bouzareah, through the forest of Bainam. Okay, you can go. I mean, if I wanted, I would take the right and go to Bouzareah through the forest of Bainam, making this trip fun. Okay, by driving through the forest. However, The route that we have chosen today is the Sidi El Kebir route. Okay. So the traffic jam is, easing down little by little as you are entering the neighborhood of Rais Hamidou. And by the way, this neighborhood was named after a captain, Rais Hamidou, a captain named Hamidou, who was part of the Ottoman fleet, when the Turks ruled Algeria, okay, between the 16th century and the 19th century, okay. So Algeria was reputed to have Plage Bekouche, okay. There is a beach here on the left named Bekouche, okay. So Algeria was reputed to have a formidable fleet, military fleet, and Rais Hamidou was one of the captains of that fleet, and he's considered like a national hero here in Algeria. And the Turks, when they came to Algeria, they came in the early 16th century. In 1516, 1517, 1518. So that was the time when they started to arrive here in Algeria, and they came at the request of some Algerian officials who asked them support and protection and help to protect Algeria, the Algerian coastal cities, from the Spanish invasion. So that's the history behind that name. I'm still driving through on the Ho Chi Minh Avenue, and there is a beach on the left called Plage Lafayette, okay? So as I told you, there are many beaches around here, and well, the locals, local residents know them much better than anyone else, and I've never been to those beaches, but all I know is that, they are relatively small. And I'm still continuing to drive on the Ho Chi Minh Avenue, and you can see the Bidem forest right in front of us over there. All those hills are covered with that forest. And by the way, it's the largest forest here in Algiers, in the province of Algiers. And now we are approaching the turn that leads to the hospital. As you can see, the little sign over there, Hôpital Moustashfa Hospital. So traffic has just eased as I'm leaving this neighborhood of Bidem. But it's only to find some more traffic here. So I'm approaching another beach area here, Plage Martin, okay, so Martin Beach, okay. And by the way, this is one of the neighborhoods known for their, colonial houses, okay. Most of the houses here are date back to the colonial era, so they were built and occupied by French settlers before 1962, before the independence of Algeria. Some of them are really nice. And it seems that traffic is easing a little bit as we are approaching the neighborhood of Rais Hamidou. I mean the central part of that neighborhood. Plage Campino, okay, so the Campino Beach is on the left now. And as you can see, those beaches are small and they are adjacent to each other. They are very near each other. we are approaching the place where we are going to find that intersection and that road that will lead us up to Bouzareah. Easy peasy with these speed bumps, because some of them are really huge. They could damage your suspension, your car suspension, in a very nasty way. So we are exiting the territory, the administrative territory of Hammamat, of the Hammamat municipality, and we have just entered the Rais Hamidou municipality. There is such a nice building on the right. I guess that this also is a hotel. It has recently been finished, but it hasn't been opened yet. The local authorities of these neighborhoods complain about the lack of land. You know, they lack land. They don't have enough lands to you know, on which they could develop projects. That's the main complaint of the authorities, of the local authorities of these areas, these coastal areas, because, you know, on our right you've got those hills and those mountains, forested mountains of the Biniam forest, heavily wooded mountains and hills of the Biniam forest, and that doesn't leave much room for the local authorities to develop projects here, to build, you know, theaters and shopping malls and all those things that, you know, people need in order to have a comfortable urban life. There is more traffic here as I mean, at the entrance of the center of Rais Hamidou, and we've got to go through it. We don't have any other choice. There is a sports compound on my left. And local residents are the supporters of Algiers, two main and two oldest, or among the oldest soccer clubs. One of them is USMA. It's the most popular. It's the most USMA. It's the most popular soccer club here in this area, in the western area. But I can also see, you know, murals paying homage to another soccer club, the Bouzareah Soccer Club, okay, which is perhaps the most famous soccer club in all of Algeria. It was founded in 1921, and it was also a symbol of the Algerian struggle for independence, because, you know, Algerian nationalism started way before the beginning of the independence war in 1954. Okay, so back in the 1920s, Algerians started, you know, to claim independence from France, and now I have arrived at that intersection that will, you know, lead us to Bouzareah. You can see the signs over there, right in front of us. So let's read the signs if we can. Sidi El Kebir, okay, there is a village up there called Sidi El Kebir, and Bouzareah, okay, our final destination. So now let's take this road. Okay, it's a little bit narrow in some places. By the way, this, you know, Rais Hamidou area is also known for its cement works. cement factory. There is a huge cement factory here that employs lots of people, and there are lots of trucks that come from all over the country in order to purchase cement from this factory, which is right in front of us over there. Just driven through the Rais Hamidou Avenue, and now we are going to take the Sidi El Kebir road. As you can see, okay, so this is the headquarters of the municipality, of the Rais Hamidou municipality. The area is serviced by private buses, just like the one you see over there. And you know, they do the shuttle between Rais Hamidou and Bouzareah. So even that bus is headed to Bouzareah. So now we are driving up the mountain. There is an interesting thing I'd like to show you on that bus: the Algerian flag and the Palestinian flag. Okay, on the back window of that bus, and this, you know, because you know, many Algeria, as a government, the Algerian government openly supports the Palestinian cause, and you know, countless Algerians obviously support Palestinian independence. They show solidarity with the Palestinian people at any time and in any circumstances. And by the way, you can have very, you know, really wonderful views, here, around here, see, from these balconies, okay, like the one we can see here on our right, okay. You can see the sea. You can, I mean, these are places that overlook all the, you know, the neighborhoods underneath, and they are, you know, beautiful places to take pictures, where you can take pictures. But some parts of this road are really narrow, so we've got to drive really carefully here. And I also guess that traffic goes both ways here on these streets. That's why you've got to be extra careful. You can see a huge pothole here. The first time my brother and I drove this road, we were a little bit scared, because, you know, we had the impression that, you know, it was more than 10 years ago. We had the impression that, you know, it was going to lead us nowhere. And this road left such a deep impression on me that, of course, I liked it too. We were scared, but we also liked driving through it. But it left such a deep impression. A very beautiful view on my right here. Looks like the sea. You know, when I look on the right, it looks like the sea is just underneath me. Whoa! It's a real natural balcony here. There is a real natural balcony. And well, so as I said, it left such a deep impression on me that I dreamed about it many times during that period. Okay, so the road keeps ascending, and you've got to drive really carefully. Okay, and there are many people who purchased pieces of land here and built houses. There, as you can see, they are still building their houses. Many are still building their houses. They haven't finished them yet. And as I'm looking on my right here, I can also see deeper weeds. So it's such a nice view. It's such a nice area to discover. Now we are beginning to reach the top of the hill. We will be driving on a plateau right after we finish this sloping road. Because Bouzareah is actually located on a plateau. And it's the highest neighborhood of Algiers at 700 meters or even more than 700 meters above sea level. Bouzareah is also home to a space observatory and the Bouzareah University. And Bouzareah is very cold in the winter and very hot in the summer. It has a continental climate, contrary to the coastal areas of Algiers that have a very mild and very nice Mediterranean climate. I haven't seen many stores around here, and I guess that, you know, people around here really need to walk miles or travel miles in order to go shopping. Although transport-wise, this area is serviced by mini buses, just like the one we saw earlier. And I really like the shade here and the view too on the right. Unfortunately, I can't move the camera to film the view, but I'll do it someday. What I also like around here is the road. The road surface. It's not too damaged. It's not damaged at all. In fact, it's impeccable. Because usually areas like these would, you know, have horrible roads with lots of potholes and bumps. And of course, this road reminds me of rural Algeria. A very beautiful view on my right here. There is a bus stop. We are still continuing our way to Bouzareah. In fact, we might have already entered the administrative territory of Bouzareah. But the Bouzareah town center is still far away. At least 5 or 6 kilometers away from here. I guess that we have finished the sloping road, and now we have reached the plateau, that huge and vast plateau where Bouzareah is located. And you know, despite the fact that okay, we are on March 27th, by the way. It's beginning to get hot here in Algeria, and at this time of day it's 12:24 p.m. and at this time of day it gets I mean it sometimes gets hot that you would have the impression that you are on a summer day, okay? And despite the fact that, you know, it was hot earlier when I was in that traffic jam, here I can feel that it's cool, okay? It's cool. It's almost cold. As cold as on a December or on a January day. Of course, I'm talking about an Algerian or a Mediterranean December and the Mediterranean January. Still quite sloping here. That's why my brother told me around 10 years ago that you know, that slope was endless, was just endless. I've driven that, I mean, this road many other times, many more times after that. But every time I come here, I'm kind of annoyed by the length of that slope. So I guess that we have at last reached the plateau. Yet you've got to be really careful here with these ditches. They are ditches from hell. They could shake this camera and even make it fall off the dashboard. So you've got to be careful and you know, keep your eyes on the road. And sometimes even those speed bumps are almost invisible. You've got, you know, sometimes there are huge speed bumps that are not, you know, that are very, very hard to see on the road, to spot. And you've got to be really careful because they could cause serious damage to your car suspension. This guy is really nice. There is a mosque here called Masjid Al-Abrar, the Al-Abrar Mosque. Looks so nice. It's on my left. And, now we're in Bouzareah proper, in the neighborhood of Bouzareah, on that plateau that leads to the town center. One more speed bump. And let's go. We will soon be joining one of Bouzareah's main roads, and it's in fact known as the Bainam Road. In the video where I filmed how to drive from the center of Bouzareah to the Bainam forest, I essentially drove on that road. And it's a road that links the neighborhood of Bouzareah to the neighborhood of Benimsous, another suburb that's on you know, in the higher parts of Algiers. And by the way, the Bainam forest is right on the right here. See, it's on the right. All the fence you can see here is part of the forest's fence. So it's so big that it reaches this part of Bouzareah. The name Bouzareah literally means the one with the seeds. Zaria means seeds. I have no idea why it's called like this. Maybe it's the name of a person. Maybe it was a farming area prior to French colonization. I used to be scared of these, speed bumps that are really hard to spot, really hard to see. Especially when I had a new car. Oh, there is a pony that's going to cross the road with that boy. So that boy is dragging that pony, and he's apparently taking that pony to the Bynam forest, because there are playgrounds there and there are ponies, okay, for kids to ride. There is another pony on my left too, and now we have just joined the Bynam road that will lead us to the center of Bouzareah. The Bynam road is a very long road that links the center of Bouzareah to the neighborhood of Benimsus, and it's serviced by private buses, like the one we have just passed. However, this road is in a terrible condition. The road surface is in terrible condition because of works that the authorities undertook a couple of years ago in order to install sewers, underground sewers. So the camera is shaking and I can't help it. And well, I have just seen other murals indicating that local residents are supporters of the Mouloudia team, or the Mouloudia soccer club. So these are mixed. In fact, these are mixed neighborhoods where all the neighborhoods around the central Algiers, including central Algiers itself, are mixed neighborhoods where people, part of the youth support are supporters of the USMA or the USMA soccer team, while others are supporters of the Mouloudia soccer team. Look at that mosque, it's small and cute. Such a cute building. Oh. So I've done my best to immobilize the camera, yet you can't prevent it from shaking when the road is horribly bumpy and rough. All cracked like it is here. And there are two main reasons to this. First of all, the authorities didn't, fix the road the way, properly after they finished the works. And secondly, the road is also crossed by, traveled by trucks. by heavyweight vehicles that you know, contribute to its damaging, to its deterioration. And well, we have just, you know, we are approaching the center of Bouzareah. Okay, that's the mosque. We are driving towards the central roundabout of the neighborhood. Well, it took us something like 45 minutes in order to drive from Ain Benian to this area. It's a very long time. In fact, you know, it took me even more. It's just 45 minutes of filming. But in fact, you know, I was slowed down by those traffic jams on the coastal in the coastal neighborhoods. Well, but I hope that you enjoyed this video anyways, and if you like it, click on the thumbs up. I hope that you have discovered lots of things along the, you know, the route, and please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications button in order to receive notifications about my new videos. And take care of yourselves. So this is me from Bouzareah, and goodbye.